Okay, so we're going back over order of operation again. Guys, order of operation means you're going to work out each problem one operation at a time in order of PEMDAS. Okay, remember you have to do one operation at a time. You cannot combine operations. Okay, one at a time. So we're going to do a refresher. PEMDAS, P is parentheses, so we're going to do everything in parentheses first. Okay, everything in parentheses first. Okay, E is for exponents. We don't do exponents in 5th grade. Then it's M is multiply, D is to divide, and remember those can be done in any order from left to right. Okay, any order from left to right. After you've done all of that, so we'll do any multiplication or division. After addition and multiplication and division is done, then you're going to do any addition or subtraction. Okay, which means all multiplication and division should be done completed, and all you should have left is addition and subtraction. Okay, so always your last operation should be addition or subtraction, no matter what the question is. All right, so let's look at a couple. Let's look at GEMDAS now. GEMDAS, same thing. It's grouping. So you're going to do inside the parentheses, inside the brackets. Okay, it's grouping. So we're going to do all the groups first. And then again, we don't do exponents. Multiply and divide from left to right. Do all multiplication and division. And then after that, you'll do addition and subtraction. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't do addition and subtraction first if it's in parentheses. If it's in parentheses, you do it no matter what. Okay? All right, so let's look at some examples. All right, 5 times 4 plus 3 and 2/10. That's a PEMDAS. So we're going to first do parentheses. So we're going to mark out a parentheses and solve it. 5 times 4 is 20. Once you solve one operation, everything that you don't underline comes down to the next line. So plus 3 and 2/10. We don't have exponents. There is 0 multiplication or division. All I have left is addition. So 20 plus 3 and 2/10. So 20 plus 3. Remember, the number 20 is a whole number. So the decimal is understood to be at the end. So we have to add the decimal and the zeros to add 3 and 2/10. Okay, you know that when you add decimals, you fill in the holes and then add. So your answer was 23 and 2/10, or 23 and 20 is correct. Okay. All right, here's another PEMDAS question. The first thing we're going to do is the parentheses. So that's 29 and 7/10. So you're going to have to come down and out of the way of the problem, and you're going to have to work it. 29 and 7/10 minus 4 and 36/100. Okay, I know that I have to fill in this hole. 0 minus 6 doesn't work. It gives me a negative number. So if to borrow from the 7, it becomes 6, and the 0 becomes 10. And then we subtract. 10 minus 6 is 4. 6 minus 3 is 3. Bring down my decimal. 9, take away 4, and you have 5. Bring down your 2. So 25 and 34/100. So we did parentheses. Now we have to bring everything down. There are no more parentheses, so I'm done with the parentheses. Now we have to do multiplication and division. There's a multiplication problem, 5 times 2. So I'm going to solve it first. Bring down 25 and 34/100. and the plus sign. There's no more multiplication or division, so now we are just adding. So 25 and 34 hundredths. I know that 10 is a decimal, is a whole number, so it goes to the left of the decimal, and then you just add. 35 and 34 hundredths. Okay. All right, next problem. This is a GEMDAS question. We have parentheses, and then we have brackets. So we have to do the parentheses first, so we're going to solve that. 3 and 5/10 plus 4. 4 is a whole number. Decimal is understood to be at the end, and add a 0. So 5 plus 0 is 5. Decimal lined up. 4 plus 3 is 7. So my answer is 7 and 5/10 minus 2. That's still in brackets. Times 3. Okay. And now we're going to subtract because we're still doing the brackets. So 7 and 5/10 minus 2. 2 is a whole number, so the decimal is the end, followed by 0. 5 minus 0 is 5. 7 minus 2 is 5. Bring down my decimal. 5 and 5/10 times 3. I'm going to leave it there. We're not going to do it because right now we're not doing multiplying decimals. So we're just going to stop, but the next thing we would do would be 55 times 5 and 5/10 times 3. Okay? So we're going to stop there because we don't do multiplying and dividing. We will get to that later on. Okay? All right. Next question. 4 and 8/10 plus, in the bracket, parentheses, 3 and 2/10 minus 3 and 2/10 plus 0 and 2/10. All right. So GEMDAS, the first thing we're going to do is the parentheses. 3.2 minus 3.2. Okay, gives you 0. Plus 0 and 2/10. We're going to keep the brackets around them. Bring down the 4.8 and the plus sign. All right, 0 plus 0.2. That's easy. 0.2 plus 4 and 8/10. And now we're just going to add 4 and 8/10 plus 0 and 2/10. 8 plus 2 is 10. 4 plus 1 is 5. Bring down my decimal. 5 or 5.0. Okay, last question is a PEMDAS. We're going to start with 8 plus 7.2. So 8.0 plus 7 and 2/10.
You want to walk out with me?
0 plus 2 is 2. Bring down my decimal. 8 plus 7 is 15. So this one is 15 and 2/10 plus parentheses 4 and 3/10 minus 0 and 3/10. Okay, so we did one of the parentheses. Now we have to do the other one before we can complete it. So 4 and 3/10 minus 0 and 3/10. 3 minus 3 is 0. Bring down my decimal. 4 minus 0 is 4. So now you have 15 and 2/10 plus 4, or you can say 4 and 0/10. Now all the parentheses are done. The only operation left is addition. There's no exponents, there's no multiplication or division, so the only thing we need to do is add 15 and 2/10 plus 4 and 0 hundredths. That's 2. 5 plus 4 is 9. Bring down my 1. 19 and 2/10. Okay, so what I want you to notice is that every time I am doing the same order of operation that we have learned. We do parentheses first. If you have brackets, you do the parentheses and then the brackets, because usually the parentheses are inside. You do one step at a time. After you've done all the parentheses, then you mark out your E, because we don't do exponents. After you've done all the parentheses, we don't have exponents. You do any multiplication or division you may have. All of it. Once there's no more multiplication or division, Then you're done and you move on to addition and subtraction and you do all the addition and subtraction. Your final should be addition or subtraction. Looking at this problem, if you were to do PEMDAS, what would be your last operation? So if you need to, solve it. Look for your last operation. If you need to solve it, go ahead and solve it. Otherwise, use order of operation to determine what are you going to do last. What is going to be your last operation? Okay, if you talk yourself through it. Okay?